name is Jerry Goode Jr. and I'm the owner of JerryGoodeJr Digital Daily Network. This is our first production, and my digital daily network is going to be comprised of a different series, different shows. So today, I'm going to be breaking down my book, Impossible Means Nothing to Me, because with God, all things are possible. So many people have been asking me about what was I thinking when I made it. Also, too, making my book is a definition of what was impossible. I never dreamed or imagined what was possible by writing this book. Never thought about being an author, but as the book progressed, and I'll go over details, I'm going to talk about the dedication, the acknowledgments, and I'm going to go over chapter 1. But getting back to my daily digital network, something I never could envision. So starting off, the things I invested in, I have a green screen. It's going to be 4 different studios setups in my studio. So the first show, which is going to be now, is dealing with Impossible Mean Nothing. I'm going to break it down in each chapter as episodes each week. Also, too, I'm going to have a show called Mind of a Genius, where I have positive, powerful people that I respect, and we'll be doing one-on-one in a setting, and where I'll be doing an interview with them. Also, I'm going to have a show called My Perspective. My Perspective is a show dealing with everybody sees things, but it's all about different perspectives. So I'm going to have a different select panel so we can take issues and see what our perspective is. It's from a biblical standpoint, from a standpoint from all different angles. Also, I'm going to have Shining Star Youth, because there's so many youth in our area that are doing great things, but they haven't been acknowledged, and we need to talk about that. My company, Standard of Excellence. Excellence is the standard. That's the company. So anytime you deal with standards of excellence, excellence is our standard. So I wanted to have a network that is dealing with positivity, dealing with God's word, dealing with seeing things from a different perspective. So those different shows, and also I'm going to have a show called My Body, My Temple, which is going to talk about my personal training studio. It's going to talk about the lifestyles, how did we come to the point, different issues in health. So I'm going to have myself and talking about the supplements, how they can benefit you, my 20-some years of personal training and 13 plus years of natural supplement expertise. So I'm going to be doing different shows. So if you want to help Jerry Goode Jr. Daily Digital Network, you can cash app $Jerry Goode Jr. And so this is the first stage. Actually doing it from the YouTube channel, Jerry Goode Jr. And from the YouTube channel, my goal is to first get 1,000 subscribers, then also do 4,000 hours worth of time on the network, on YouTube. From there, I want to actually create an app where you can go into the app and you'll be able to see our different shows. And as I progress, I'll be able to hire people. I'll be able to hire people who can edit. I'll be able to hire people who can actually do production. So this is the first stage. But as I go out and about, as it grows, I'm looking forward to big things. So let's break down my book. Well, first of all, let me start off with how I got started on several fronts. So how I even got in the process of getting to the point, because of the things I've been through. When I was in high school, that's why I said God puts you in places you never thought or dreamed or imagined. When I was in high school, my senior year, my good friend Willis, he all of a sudden just came to me and said, "Hey man, do you want to go to the military?" Understand, I had never been in the military. I never was in ROTC, but somehow in my spirit, I said yes. So what they got in the military called delayed entry program. So you go to that and get sworn in before you graduate high school. So after high school, I went straight to basic training. I never had the mindset of I'm going to quit, I'm going to leave the military. So that was something that I never thought of. So after basic training, I went to AIT. That's when you get your training for your duty. Now, with me joining the military, I thought I was going to travel the world. I wanted to go to Germany. That was one of my choices. But I ended up going to Desert Storm War. And so a person right out of high school, a couple of years in the military, going over to seas, being over Desert Storm 8 months was life-changing. And so, but over the 8 months, I developed a strong, powerful relationship with God. I got saved right before I left. My grandma, she got sick, so I came home on leave before I went to Desert Storm, and I know I got saved. And once I got saved, I went to Desert Storm. I didn't have any fear. Okay, if I'm not going to come back, that was not my fear. But after the first 3 months of being in Desert Storm, we got there. They initially told us, okay, we can't contact our family and friends. We was in the middle of the desert. And at that point in time, we didn't know it was going to be a Vietnam. We didn't know how bad the war was going to be. So I happened to, so we had a call from our captain. He said either we're going to go closer to the war or we're going to go back in the rear, which is Riyadh. So we ended up being blessed to go back in the rear. And so once the war was over with, I got a chance to go to Saudi Arabia, see the people, very great people. So being, when I see Muslims, the Muslims over there is totally different. They got a great spirit. I mean, it was great because we interacted with them. Also being over there, I had a great personal relationship with God. Really didn't have any temples or churches to go to, so I had a strong personal relationship with God. So after that time, being able with a strong personal relationship with God, and I came over to America, and I saw with a discerning spirit, I saw so many things that were not of God. So to fast forward to now, to making the book, well, when I started making this book, it's a significance to it. I write a lot of motivational things. So if you look on my Instagram, look at my posts or different social medias, I'm always trying to uplift and inspire. And I always indicate impossible means nothing to me. So over a couple of years, I have been doing that and been saying that saying. So it came in my spirit when I was going through things, and God put it in my spirit, it's time to write that book. So when I went back over all the readings and all the stuff I was doing, I said to myself, man, I was writing this book for years. But as an author, I could never even see myself doing that. You got to understand, not only am I an author, but I published my own book. And it's on Amazon, where you can get that book at Amazon and they ship right to you. So if you want to order the book, it'll be in the description below. Also, like my page. And also, you can comment as far as things to come, because if you want me to come for a book signing or if you want me to do a book club, you can book me in the description below. So let's talk about the actual dedication. Let me read the dedication I wrote in the book. This book was inspired by God for me to pour out into others the years of wisdom and knowledge that God poured into me. This book will challenge your thinking and belief system as to how you look at the word impossible. How can you say something is impossible when you serve a God who says all things are possible? So when you're a child of God and God says we have a measure of faith. So when you build your faith, there is nothing impossible. So you have to believe that. So all things are possible with him. Now with us, it's not possible. So when I started this book, it came about, I was doing it on my laptop, and the significance of it is that I was doing the book, and I know I was at Fort Monroe. The significant history of Fort Monroe is that you gotta understand the first free slaves were in Fort Monroe. They called it Freedom Fort. So I was out there writing my book, but the way I was initially writing my book is I was talking about myself. But if God put in my spirit, I don't want this book to be about you. I want this book to inspire others and do things that will be a blessing to other people. So I talked to a good friend of mine, he's a minister, and he agreed with me that, okay, yeah, I believe God is telling me the same thing too, because he read the book as well initially when I was starting off with. So when I was at Fort Monroe, even though I heard that, I went into my laptop and everything was erased. So I said, okay, God, you must be telling me something, because everything was erased on the laptop. So at that time, I said, okay, I didn't get frustrated. It was just a calmness. Let me rewrite the book. Understand, my book came out on the 400-year anniversary of the freedom of slavery. Also, too, I wrote that book where the first free slaves were at Fort Monroe. So that's some powerful significance. So in this book, like I said, writing it, I poured my all into it. You can read it on a daily basis. You get something different every time. So let me read the first part of the acknowledgments. I would like to thank the many family and friends who have poured into my life to help me become the man I am today. This book was a thought in my mind in February 2019, spoken into existence in March. I believed it would be completed by my birthday on May 15th and prepared for publishing in July. When you have the faith to believe in the supernatural, time doesn't exist in God's manifestation. He will always exceed your expectations so he can get the glory, not you. So I always acknowledge God, as a man of faith, as a man understanding the world we live in. That's why the impossible doing this book gives me credibility, because it was something I never thought was possible. Also, I never even thought I would be here talking about having a Jerry Goode Jr. daily digital network. I've been in business for 25 years, and this is what God led me to. So to even have that thought in mind, because I've always said that I want to bring back integrity. I understand how it looks not to have integrity, but we need to have shows that have integrity. I want to be in a position where not only my production companies are doing the digital daily show, but also I want to get into short film, movies, and things like that. But I want to bring back the pride, bring back the people that we know, and highlight the people who are doing things in the neighborhood, doing things in the area, in the world, who's doing great things. We got enough negativity out there. So I want to always focus on the positive side. How can we move the needle forward? So I'm excited about these episodes, and also I'm excited about when I interview people and talk about on the mind of a genius. Those people will be powerful people in the area, powerful people that are moving the needle in great positions you might have never heard about. But our kids, your family, your friends, those people need to see what it looks like to be successful. We already see what it looks like to struggle. We already see what it looks like not to do things decent in order, do things any kind of way. But now with my network, I'm going to change that narrative. So let's talk about the first chapter and break that down. What was my thought process in the first chapter? My first chapter, the title is Your Mind Must Arrive at Your Destination Before Your Life Does. What does that mean? You have to see yourself there before you can get there. So you have to act like the person you are before you even get there. Just because you don't have the financial stuff, but if you want a nice house, you want nice things, you go walk into that vision. You do those things on a consistent basis. Nobody knows your vision but you. And if you hear the story of Joseph, his brothers hate him because of his dream. Sometimes you can't tell everybody your dreams. You just got to go forward and understand that God is going to make things happen for you. But you have to keep dreaming. But you always got to have faith. Without works is dead. So you always got to be striving for better. You always got to put yourself in a position to win, because you have that dream and you have to hold on to it. And the scripture I had underneath this was, therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours. That's Mark 11:24. So whatever you ask God in prayer, you have to believe that you already received it before you got it. Most of us, you got to understand how the devil works. As soon as you pray for something and believe you received it, he's going to show you things that contradict and make you look foolish for even believing in it. But you got to see things bigger than that. You can't get caught up in emotion. You can't get caught up in what you see. You got to live by your spirit. You got to understand this is what God put into me. He already confirmed that I'm going to receive it. So whatever I see or whatever goes on contradictions of that, it doesn't matter. And that's what you got to do to stay forward. You have to believe in yourself. And if you don't believe in yourself, who's going to believe you? The back of my cover says, you must believe in yourself so strongly that the world can't help but believe in you too. So once you believe in yourself, people will see by your actions. I have the gift of writing. I like to speak by example. I like to put things on print so people can understand who I am. I like to uplift people. That's who I am. And as a writer, and this is my first book. Then my second book come out, I'm going to do the same platform. So let me read a little bit about the first chapter. The first chapter, the power of belief in oneself can change the world. You must believe in yourself so strongly that the world can't help but believe in you too. When I first started my journey as an entrepreneur, people started to say, you'll never make it. Then they said, he thinks he's special. To all he cares about is money. To he got lucky. And now they say, I always knew you were going to make it. Don't be afraid of being different. Be afraid of being the same as everybody else. You must set a goal so big that you can't achieve it until God grows you into the person who can. But your dream will never become a reality until you shift from not important to somewhat important to very important to an emergency. Life is the most difficult exam. Many people fail because they try to copy others, not realizing that everyone has a different question on their test. So instead of trying to be like others, try to be the best version of yourself. I'm going to stop there. Some of the things that stand out I want to go over. It says, it says, but your dream will never become a reality until you shift from not important to somewhat important to very important to emergency. What does that mean? You have to believe in yourself so strongly. Every day you have to go after it relentlessly. No matter what people say, no matter what the circumstances look like. Because in the end, like I said, I always tell people, I can live with not getting to the goal or destination, but I can't live with regret. One of the things I'm doing now, everything I'm doing in my life now is what I love to do. And so that's living a successful life. When you actually living a life of purpose, a living a life of focus, and you doing everything that you know that's in the will of God, and you constantly pushing the needle forward. Okay, let's look at this. When people say you'll never make it, you can't worry about what people say. You got to forget about what people say. Don't get caught up in people who are not even successful. They're telling you. What happens is most people are happy for you as long as you're not further than they are. So you got to surround yourself with people who understand that, hey, we're going to run this race together, or you're going to run it alone. Because God and you are the majority. So if you have some comments, you can write in the comments things that you listen to what I said, but impossible means nothing to me because God, all things are possible. Like I said, you can look at the description below and order the book. If you want to book me as an author, you can. It'll be information at the bottom. But I just leave with this right here. This book was impossible, but with God, all things are possible. And I look forward to your comments. I look forward to communicating to you. And next week, I'll break down some little information on the chapter 2. And like I said, please support my daily digital daily show, my JerryGoodeJr daily digital daily show network. So please support. And if you want to help out, you can cash up $JerryGoodeJr. I look forward to doing great things. I look forward to you being on this journey with me. Have a great day. God bless.